Yo, what up, fam? SeemlyTuber back at it again. Alright, folks, buckle up because as of now, not so jolly green giant Microsoft, Xbox, just dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the entire gaming world. We're talking about a massive wave of layoffs, studio closures, and game cancellations that's got everyone asking, what the hell is going on with Xbox? Is the empire crumbling? Is this the end of Xbox as we know it, or just a brutal strategic reshuffling? We're cutting through all the corporate nonsense and the memes to give you the unfiltered truth about this bloodbath. You already know the drill. Stay till the end, cause we're breaking down all the tea on this Xbox chaos. Let's get it. Alright, fam, grab your hard hats because the news coming out of Microsoft on July 2nd, 2025 was devastating. The hammer came down, and it wasn't just Xbox. It was all across Microsoft. Impacted about 4% of their entire workforce, but for us gamers, the hit to Xbox, brutal. No cap. Microsoft just pink slipped about 9,000 people from its Xbox division. Yes, you heard that right. Over 9,000. And Microsoft, could you have at least not done the meme? It's over 9,000? It is a classic. But not when we're talking about a bunch of real people losing their jobs. It's tough to even joke about it. But I'm still gonna say it. But the sheer absurdity of the number is just wow. This is unfortunately the bigger and arguably better in terms of impact, not good news. To last year's carnage, when Xbox decided that Hi-Fi Rush, their massive critically acclaimed hit, was warranting of closing its studio, Tango Gameworks, and then there was Redfall. Well, Redfall. Nothing could have saved that vampire nonsense. Trim them. This is the fourth major wave of firings in the last 2 years from Xbox, ever since acquiring Activision Blizzard. It feels like it's just been a bloodbath for all involved, but this latest round, it's a step beyond. It's not just support staff or QA or redundant management. Those were the excuses for the last ones. This time, Xbox is coming for your job. Whether you're in a studio trapped in development hell or in one of the best studios with hits coming out of it. We heard rumblings in late June about potential mass culling. And on July 2nd, the hammer dropped. Cuts and layoffs are hitting everywhere. Even previously successful areas like Turn 10 and the geniuses behind Forza, they got hit with a staggering 50% staff cut, bruh. They murdered them and cut one of the games. They don't even make Forza Horizon anymore. Yeah, Forza Horizon. They don't even make that anymore. They stopped making it. And even studios working on freaking Call of Duty like Raven Software and Sledgehammer Games getting hit with massive layoffs. It appears that nothing and no one is safe in this major round of firings. This is a cold reminder that for these massive corporations, even success isn't always enough. Beyond the layoffs, fam, the casualties include some highly anticipated games getting axed and beloved studios taking massive hits. This one stings for us gamers, no cap. The initiative, the studio specifically formed to work on the long-teased Perfect Dark reboot, was entirely shut down. That's right, the Perfect Dark reboot has officially been canceled. After years of rumors and quiet development, that game is dead in the water. And apparently the game was on a workable build already, so they just axed it, I guess. And remember Rare's Everwild, that magical, gorgeous game that was decades in the making? It's being quietly nudged into an unmarked grave they've been digging for. Well, God knows how long. That's also canceled. According to insider sources, the cancellation of Everwild is actually leading to the game's director, Greg Mayles, a 35-year veteran of Rare who worked on classics as far back as Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, and Viva Pinata, bolting from the company. Like, if you're canning my passion project after all this time, I'm out, fam. Mayles' exit from Rare is one of the last nails in the coffin for classic Rare. Almost all of the old guard from the legendary studio are just gone. It's sad to see him go. And it's a tough time to be a Rare fan right now. Honestly, it feels like the vibrant, creative spirit of old Rare is just evaporating. But in all seriousness, it's not just Rare, it's everything Xbox. Even King, the mobile game developer, a massive moneymaker for Xbox, we're talking Candy Crush money, fam, is getting like 10% of its studio cut. And it's hitting Bethesda too. A new IP that was going to be an MMO from the Elder Scrolls Online guys was canceled. And that's far from the only thing getting canned at Bethesda. Reportedly, multiple unannounced projects have been canceled before their time. Even John Romero, the influential co-creator of Doom, was not spared. Xbox's wrath, or as I see it, less wrath and more strategic disinterest. As somebody who loves video games, these job losses are brutal. And hearing about all these potentially amazing games getting canceled before their time is super disheartening, for real. It feels like the sky is falling for Xbox fans right now. So with all the devastation, what does Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox Gaming, do? Why, he puts out a tone-deaf internal message that sounds more like a press release for the shareholders than anything meant to address concerns or help with what is absolutely bottom of the barrel moral situation. No doubt, this entire statement is so pathetic. It's pure corporal garbage. He inexplicitly acknowledges all the job losses while at the same time saying, I recognize that these changes come at a time when we have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before. Our platform, hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger. What the hell is this? What is wrong with Phil? I'm sorry to curse, but what is this? I'll tell you what it is. He's trying to call them investors while addressing the issue for remaining staff. And it just comes off as fake as hell. We've all been willing to give Phil a shot for the last few years cause things have been tough. I'm not going to pretend that things are not tough out here in them streets for anyone. But it's also getting harder and harder to see his run as the leader of Xbox as anything but a freaking disaster. Going from top of the industry to what is essentially a third-party publisher in just over a decade is something basically only Sega can truly identify with. Like the Genesis it did what Nintendo don't. And the Xbox 360, yeah, it has some pretty big problems to overcome. Remember the Red Ring of Death, fam? But they did right by the customer. And that built the brand in a massive way. It's that the Nintendo Wii won in terms of pure sales, but culturally speaking, the Xbox 360 was the winner. Right now, a lot of the homegrown Xbox franchises are dead in the water, floundering badly. The entire Xbox division feels entirely propped up by their third-party purchases of Bethesda and Activision. And even that, it seems like at least right now, the purchase of these massive studios is hurting them more than it's helping Xbox. Looking at all these cuts hidden across the board, so if homegrown franchises are struggling and acquired studios are getting hit with cuts, what is Xbox's strategy? It feels like an identity crisis, fam. Game Pass, their flagship service, has stalled at 35 million subscribers. Now, that's not a number to shake a stick at, for real. It's a lot of subs, but it hasn't been growing. And it needed to grow to justify those massive acquisitions and the Netflix of games vision. So Microsoft's big solution, let's start partnering with people to make third-party handhelds. Oh, and here's the head scratcher. They won't play the entire Xbox catalog, just PC games that you don't even need Xbox for. What the hell, Microsoft? What the hell? That decision has everyone doing a lot of head scratching, no cap. It's like they're trying to compete without actually competing. If the new Xbox strategy looks a lot like if you can't beat them, publish on their platform. We've seen Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Pentiment already sailing onto Sony's turf, and Hellblade 2 is hot on their heels. This Xbox Everywhere initiative means that their games are going cross-platform, hitting PlayStation, even Nintendo. While it's a W for gamers on other platforms, it makes you wonder about the long-term vision for Xbox as a console. Is Xbox essentially becoming a third-party publisher, relying on software sales rather than hardware sales to lead the charge? It definitely feels like a fundamental shift in their industry, in their identity. So why is this all going down, fam? What's the real reason behind this bloodbath and identity crisis? It's a mix of complex factors, but some of it feels like a self-inflicted wound. It's not just Xbox. Honestly, there are reports that video game spending is just down across the board after the COVID boom. During the pandemic, we were all stuck indoors, and the best thing to do was play video games, right? All these companies bet on infinite growth, thinking that was the new normal. But for real, fam, that was an aberration in human history. People were always gonna go back outside. I can't fathom the reaction from all these companies that because we were in a pandemic and everybody was playing video games, that's how it's going to be. There's no set of information that implies that, and yet here we are. The younger generation is even getting priced out of their own hobby, with games becoming more expensive and consoles being a luxury. If this really is the beginning of the end of the US dominating video games, it's partially a self-inflicted wound, fueled by reckless consolidation and tech industry greed, buying up everything that they can actually understanding why people buy video games in the first place. That's honestly completely infuriating. The purchase of massive studios like Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, while making them the de facto #1 games publisher in the world, seems to be hurting them more than helping Xbox. Just look at how many cuts are being targeted at Bethesda and Activision studios. It's not just Microsoft stuff, it's across the board. It's easy to lay the blame on Phil Spencer, and certainly he does deserve plenty. Sarah Bond, the president of Xbox, and Matt Booty, the president of Game Content Studios, they deserve some of the blame here as well. But I do want to say this. At the end of the day, they are just cogs in the Microsoft machine. Phil still has to answer to Satya Nadella, the CEO and chairman of Microsoft. And you better believe that it was probably him and not Phil that was pushing for the reduction of staff and also pushing this games as a service thing. Phil's just caping for it. Unfortunately, Xbox is a small portion of Microsoft's frankly massive empire. The successes and failures of that division are just a drop in the bucket compared to the insane revenue that other divisions bring in. It's a humbling reminder of just how seriously the company takes the division, which appears to be not that much at all. Not gonna cap. Beyond the market forces and corporate structure, Xbox has made some serious blunders that are purely on them, fam. The way they've handled their internal studios like 343 Industries, the Coalition, and now closed the Initiative have been a disgrace. Xbox was handed some of the greatest IPs ever. Halo, Gears of War, and yes, Perfect Dark. There was massive potential there. They squandered it with poor management. We've been quick to praise Microsoft's hands-off approach to game development in the past, and it's led to some amazing stuff, especially from Obsidian, who are proving to be the MVPs of the entire division lately. Seriously, you know who I haven't had to mention getting laid off? Obsidian. That is of note, to say the least. But in the case of other studios, maybe a little more hands-on help would have been helpful. If they had, maybe the Initiative wouldn't have floundered for nearly 10 years with basically nothing to show for Perfect Dark but some vertical slices. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not that hard to make a Perfect Dark game. You could literally just reboot it and do the first game's plot with some changes. And I think everybody would be pretty psyched as long as it turned out well. Compare Microsoft's handling of their studios to someone like Nintendo, who's very hands-on. Developers might struggle, but at the end of the day, you get an all-time great game like Metroid Prime. With Xbox, it's 10 years of nothing followed by cancellation. That slow, gradual transition from major hardware competitor to third-party software publisher, whatever. It's sad to see. So fam, to answer the question, what the hell is going on with Xbox? What the hell is going on over there? What the hell is up with Xbox? What the hell is this? Well, a lot of people are getting fired, and some highly anticipated games are getting canceled. Unfortunately, the vaporware nature of both Perfect Dark and Everwild means that their cancellations are probably justified. These were likely money holes that sting, especially for the devs who poured their lives into them. What really sucks is the loss of all these other unnamed games from Bethesda, including a new IP from ZeniMax. It all just looks really bad for Xbox on the whole. This was the inevitable result of their purchase of Bethesda and Activision. That's how industry consolidation works. Jobs are going to get lost, but I don't know if anybody really predicted how bad this was going to get. Nah. We really told y'all. When y'all hyped up Xbox buying Activision and buying all these studios, that it was not going to end well. Now they're trying to replace their employees with AI to cut corners and make games. We're heading in a dark path in games. The cutting around 50% of the staff at Turn 10, the guys behind Forza, is especially brutal. As are the cuts at Call of Duty developers like Raven and Sledgehammer. I mean, Call of Duty is basically a license to print money now. So if you think anyone would be protected, it would be them. It's a bloodbath across the board. Things might sound really bad, but Xbox, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, is going to weather the storm. What Xbox is going to be after the storm, I have no idea. But Microsoft is a monolith. They're basically untouchable in the tech space, and at least for now, it seems like their interest in keeping the gaming division alive. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a percentage of layoffs. They could just shut down the whole damn thing. Maybe in the back of see this as another step in the decline that started all the way back in 2013 with that embarrassing Xbox One reveal. Or maybe not. I hope things stabilize, not just for the future of Xbox, but for the future of gaming and developers and the developers and workers that are still with the company. And hell, the developers and workers that aren't with the company anymore. There is a serious problem if Xbox is facing the need to cut at this rate. And that has implications beyond just if they keep their job at Xbox. Are there going to be jobs elsewhere to get? Morale has got to be at a rock bottom at that company too. Hopefully things improve for these guys and they're able to make great games, because that's what matters, right? That's what we all hope happens, right? What do you think, fam? Is Xbox making the right moves for a long run, or are they digging their own grave? What's your biggest concern for the future of the Xbox brand? Hit the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Drop your fave old Xbox memory, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at SeemlyTuber1. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay gaming. Peace. Go check out my other videos. Got 2 links below.